You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building.
That's right. You may not know his face, but you probably know his work.
We definitely know his work. From Adidas, the global director, Jon Wexler.
What's good?
What
morning,
up, John?
sir.
I love doing interviews with guys like you because, you're the behind-the-scenes dude that make things really happen. So tell the people exactly what you do.
I oversee the non-sports part of Adidas, so that means that our teams in Los Angeles, London, and Berlin handle all the product seeding and relationship building across the non-sports space. Television, film, music video, working with celebrities, entertainers, influencers to bring them in close to the brand and give them a shot at helping us bring creativity.
So nobody can blame you for the Adidas curse. With all the athletes, they say get injured when they wear Adidas.
I'm unfamiliar with what you're talking about.
You never seen that online?
I mean, I've seen that stuff, but I never bought into it.
Gotcha.
Because if you were to actually look at athletes and how that works, I think that guys who play with their heart and just leave it all on the court, you're going to get hurt sometimes.
Absolutely.
And by no stretch is that an Adidas only thing.
Right.
And
Most
if
of the best
anything,
players get injured at some point. Right?
I mean, I remember a guy sitting out the whole season last year because of a toenail. So he wasn't one of ours. But yeah, so.
Wow.
Now, question. Now, Adidas is coming back crazy. Of course, we all grew up on Adidas, whether it was the Shell Tops or the Stan Smiths. But now, this weekend, I mean, the lines were crazy for this new Adidas sneaker. And it wasn't endorsed by Ye. It wasn't endorsed by Pusha T. It's just your new footwear is really hot right now.
Yes, we've been really fortunate. This has been an incredible run over the last couple of years. I think Adidas' heat in the marketplace right now is probably greater than when I was a kid in the 80s with Run DMC and that whole vibe. But they definitely set the table for us to have product that's more culture and lifestyle based, like the NMD shoe that you're talking about. Lines were insane. It was the hottest selling sneaker we've ever had.
Really?
Well, yeah, in terms of like volume, et cetera. It was just like the moment that shoe was on a shelf, it was vapor in the marketplace.
Now, what is this new thing that you're putting in the sneaker that it looks like styrofoam? I want to say almost, but
That's the Boost technology, right?
Boost, right?
What is this
It
Boost
is.
thing that you
And
speak
Boost is it's a revolutionary technology that Adidas is fortunate enough to have, and it has changed the face of comfort in the marketplace. It's the new benchmark. So as you guys all know or will see later, we've got some product out there for you guys, NMDs, Ultra Boost, some other products that boost in them.
Bring it in, man. Take advantage of the camera time. Go.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah, bring some, the
is that
Boost
cool?
in, bring the
Yeah.
Boost in.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so what Boost is it's basically this incredible technology that we worked on with BASF, who I don't know if you remember that company. We don't make things, we make things better.
Yep.
And they're and NASA, and we put it in our running sneakers about 3 years ago with a product called Energy Boost, and that was where we seeded that product out to like running specialty stores and real true runners. Then we started to move it more into a lifestyle space as a comfort story. And now we've basically been able to broaden the scope of who that product appeals to in an incredible way.
So do y'all get a patent on the whole Boost products?
Boost is a patented technology that
Gotcha.
we have the exclusive license.
So nobody else can use it?
Correct.
Gotcha.
So this is one of the Ultra Boost gradients that just came out over the last 6 months. I believe this is an Envy size.
Now the sneakers have the Boost technology, right?
Yeah, Yeezy Boost 350s and 750s, and some stuff that's coming in the future all have Boost technology in them because he, like everyone else who's worn it, says, "Wow, once
most
I have
comfortable
this,
sneaker."
it's the most comfortable." And once you wear it, it's really difficult
I can't wait to test
to
this
wear
out.
anything that doesn't have it in them. You want to?
Yeah. Now, what
Now,
happened
even
with
though
the
those are fashionable, you can still use these to work out.
You could wear these to work out. You could wear these to run in. I run in Ultra Boost. They have great support and yeah. So like this cage holds your foot in quite nicely. The upper booty construction, it really hugs your foot, so it gives you great support. Then we have other shoes that have like more of a lighter fit to it, where you wear it more for like not working out, but
Okay.
you still need that boost in it because you get used to it.
It's like the right size condom for your feet, basically.
That's gonna be our next marketing campaign right there.
There you go.
Like that?
Now you mentioned Run DMC.
Yes.
It's you said it's like that. I saw you say it's like that was what really made you fall in love with hip hop.
Yes.
Is
That's
that
unbelievable moment in my life for sure. This is the NMD shoe, by the way.
Okay.
This is the shoe that you were talking about earlier.
That's the one that came out this weekend.
Yeah, and I believe this is also in your size.
Nice.
These are both yours.
Woo!
But,
Okay,
we have
I
these
mean-
for you as well.
Thank
and
you,
these
sir.
For you as well. And I think we have tubulars for you. and
Yeah,
a bunch of
I
other
got some
sneakers
cute
out there.
ones, you know.
So,
popping over
and we
here.
also have Pure Boost X out there for you, which is our latest women's only technology as well. So I didn't expect this to be a sneaker story show, but it's all good.
My
You
guy.
see that
It's all
stuff?
good.
Now,
I love
like
talking
that.
about the product.
You're
It's
talking
like,
about Run DMC.
Yeah,
I was a product guy my whole life. Run DMC, yeah. I mean, when I was 13, 14 years old, I was at overnight camp. I heard it's like that coming out of one of the cabin
Hold on,
windows.
just push the mic a little closer to you, sir.
I was,
There you go.
when I grew up, I was listening to like Suicidal Tendencies and R&B, Alexander O'Neal, like all that. I grew up in the 80s. I was listening to all that music that was being played at the time on BET, MTV, whatever, when they used to play music. And
This was in Chicago.
in Chicago,
long
like
time ago.
GCI, NUR,
Okay.
BLS, all that. And Hot Mix 7, so like house music and all that. And then I heard It's Like That, and it was like all these references colliding, and just coming together to be this new music to me, and it just grabbed me. And I went and saw the Beasties open for Run DMC at the Rosemont Horizon back in Chicago, and it just like changed my life being a part of that culture.
Is it ironic that you work for Adidas now, especially being everything that Run DMC did for Adidas?
It's surreal to me. I mean, and to get to have a relationship with DMC and to talk to those guys on a pretty frequent basis, it's like it's awe-inspiring.
Well,
real.
when Run DMC did My Adidas, it wasn't because they had an Adidas deal. They
No,
just did it
they-
because they wanted to.
Totally, they did it because they wanted to send a positive message around sneakers and wearing Levi's and the kind of clothes that they were wearing at the time, and it was sort of like this battle cry for the street, because at the time there was someone in their community who was saying negative things about people who wore that type of product. So they came out and wanted to put a positive spin on it, and then they made a video, and it's on YouTube. You can see it, where they sent a video of themselves telling the team at Adidas, "Hey, we just did this. You should come check it out." So a guy named Angelo Anastasio came to New York for that famous Madison Square Garden moment where they said, "All right, we're about to show these execs at Adidas what's up. If you're wearing Adidas, raise them up over your hands." And like 22,000 people raised their shoes
Wow.
over their head, which, fast forward to a couple weeks ago when we did this Kanye Yeezy Season 3 thing, and it wasn't the same moment of people raising their shoes over their hands. But
It was bigger, actually.
It was 22,000 people screaming F Nike with no provocation.
Yeah.
It was an incredible thing for me. So it's like, I know that's sort of like the Twitterification of that nice story about Run DMC, but at the same time, it definitely came full circle to me, and I couldn't help but like sit back and just be blown away.
Is it
by
like
that.
sneaker beef behind the scenes? You know how people from different situations might not deal with each other. You like, I can't go to a party that has anything to do with.
There is, but I don't have it. I mean, like all the other brands seem to have that. We're a very inclusive brand. We let people into our events that don't wear our sneakers. I definitely have heard stories about people getting kicked out of another brand's event because they weren't wearing their sneaker when they went.
I kind of understand that, though. It's like being a blood on a Crip set. Don't come in here with no check on your shoes. It's disrespect.
I believe that the competition is good. I don't know. I
It's
think
enough
that
for
what we're doing
everybody.
right now is making all the other brands want to raise their game, and obviously we needed to raise ours.
I always wanted to know about the sneakers. You mentioned Kanye West, and there's a lot of people that can't get those Yeezy sneakers. Is there a way that you do it that they don't press that many sneakers so the demand is higher and
A
it keeps the
limited amount.
value high?
There are product that is limited edition. There is that type of product. The stuff that we do for Yeezy Boost has so many different technologies in them, not just the Boost outsole, but the Prime Knit upper, which is our latest material technology. So you end up having this is getting real like shoe technical now. It might not be so sexy.
That's
But
all
you
right.
end up
Do
in a
it, Wex.
situation where you can't produce as many as you would like because it takes X amount of time to sew those sneakers together, and you can only get so much of this Boost material from Nassau, basically. So the goal is, though, by later in this year to have a much stronger output of
rollout.
all of our sneakers because demand is so high.
And the first one, what happened with the first one? People were complaining about the first one that came out, that it wasn't done too right and that it was falling apart. The first Yeezy Boost.
The 750?
Yeah.
The
You
one
know,
that
I
looked like a
think
paper
that,
mache project.
I heard you say that. It's
Yes.
very funny. So they're also the highest resale shoe on eBay.
You
Oh,
tell them.
I have
So-
a pair that hasn't been worn.
You haven't worn them?
No.
Oh yeah, he brought you guys those,
Yeah.
right? So it's so funny. So that it's funny. One kid, it's like, how do you say this? Anyone with a Twitter account can be a journalist these
Right.
days, right?
Right.
So anyone who has any sort of anything that they want to express can tweet it. And then, like this fake launch that was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago. The blogs were like, oh, March 18th, next Yeezy Boost. No one from Adidas ever said that. and then that story just propels out into the atmosphere. And I think a lot of the stuff you saw early on with that 750, to circle back to your question, was like 4 or 5 people out of X amount of thousands of pairs that were made. And if you were to look at the actual amount of every single person who read that, who was working at one of the blogs, was like, yeah, you should have seen what happened on the ones from the other brand. Like the thing snapped off in 1 second. So I don't buy into all that product issue stuff. I think it's and also we replaced all the shoes that we could when the opportunity came up.
Now let's talk about some of the other collaborations that you guys have currently, because I know you do the Big Sean's. 2 Chainz has a collaboration. Who else? And I'm just wondering how many of these happen organically. Like you heard them mention it, or somebody from the team was like, okay, I see them wearing it, let's reach out to them. Kind of like how Run DMC happened organically.
It all starts with the relationship, and definitely Big Sean's been an amazing partner. Pusha is incredible. Those guys are like the way that they embrace the partnership and tweet out the stores that are going to be carrying it and really take an active involvement. I mean, Pusha was like commenting on all the kids' Instagram pics and stuff, and the above and beyond nature of how those guys approach stuff, just always working. It definitely, we've always taken the approach of work with people who show you love in a reciprocal way, and they for sure were an organic part of it. Also, we worked with them because at the time we were looking for people who kids wanted to dress like, and Big Sean, we've been partners with him since before the Finally Famous album came out, because we recognized that he was like a very stylish young individual who had an audience that was like buying those snapback hats because he was wearing them. You go to a Sean show, it's like the first 20 rows are kids who are dressed identical to how he's dressed. So it definitely has been amazing working with those guys. And within the Good Music family, they seem to have a lot of the more stylish members of the community. That said, we also have partnered with a variety of other people that obviously we work with Pharrell Williams, there's known clearly for his style and having the ability to push the envelope creatively.
How competitive is it with all these artists working with Adidas that have collaborations with you? Like, are they like, okay, I got to make sure I sell more than this person. I got to make sure. I
think they're all, it's funny. I know what you mean, and I think there's definitely people out there that are like that who view it in a competitive way. At least the face of it that I see is mostly like brotherly. They all want the other guy. They all want that shoe. Snoop wants that shoe from that artist because he wants to have it in his collection because he's part of the family.
Right.
Kanye has requested other sneakers from other people we've done. And sometimes I'm wondering if he's going to wear them or if he wants to like cut them open and look at the technology behind them because he's so mad scientist product guy. And then Pharrell, same thing. Like, he was wearing Yeezys the other day. So it's I think they're all. It's just because it's such a community and we have such a tight-knit relationship with all these like partners of ours. We're very blessed.
When did you get the idea to have the partnership with Kanye? Was it those rants he was making? Like, did those rants work?
We were actually already in discussion with him.
Gotcha.
I think I know what time period you're talking about when he was like on stage and doing the whole thing.
Going real crazy.
So
real crazy.
I mean, if you go back and listen to that stuff, I understand what you're saying, his emotion behind it. But the words that he was saying had a lot of credibility, like the things that he was talking about. And there was certain factors that were working against him that he had to overcome. And I find him to be a great partner, super determined. There's very few people in the world who can do what he's doing with us right now. And he's just creating newness for the brand and freshness and bringing in a whole group of consumers.
Do you think it, like when he says like, he gets blocked from certain things, do you think it's a race thing or a generational thing? Because I look at a guy like you, it's good to have guys like you in position because you just understand hip hop. That's the culture you grew up on. So you're not afraid to deal with these hip hop artists.
So do I think it's racism?
Yeah, do you think it's race or just generational?
I think it's a lot of both.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's no question. If you were to dig into the community that he's always talking about and the history of it and the type of situation he's been dealing with. But Adidas has always been a really inclusive brand. We partnered with everyone from Jesse Owens to Bob Marley to Muhammad Ali.
Missy Elliott.
We've never shied away from controversial people who push the envelope in their field. And he is definitely carrying that flag right now as far as like fighting for creatives all over the world, and we respect that. I mean, I think that dude has a great sense of humor, and it gets lost a little bit. I mean, I see your sweatshirt. It's,
Kanye for Prez, baby.
Kanye for Prez.
But 20. If Trump can, why can't he?
Well, hopefully Trump can't. But,
Yeah, hopefully he can't. We're
That's-
gonna make sure he can't.
Yeah, but that's the. But I mean, we've just been very fortunate that these creative people have kind of gravitated our way, and nothing happens overnight. So lots of conversations with all of these partners throughout time, and fortunately, we were able to come to an agreement with them.
Would
Was
the
this the
higher
first-
execs at Adidas ever be like, okay, stop with all the Nike slander. It's too much.
I mean, Adidas is definitely the type of company where we try not to trash other brands because it just comes back on you.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that's definitely something that doesn't fit in with the way that we communicate and message. I think that he's kind of gotten off that as well. I mean, I think that he now is like all about what we're doing to propel culture forward. And it's like harnessing his energy into more of the output that we can have.
Has
And I
Yeezy
also
jumped
think
over-
that sometimes people go from brand to brand. Like somebody might have been working at Nike and then they work at Adidas. And, I'm sure behind the scenes in your industry, people go from company to company. So
Oh, absolutely.
you don't want to trash a place and then end up having to go work there.
That is definitely one point of view. And I've always believed that you see the same people on the way up that you see on the way down. So
Fact.
it's like,
So
be
has
nice
Ye-
to everybody.
Has Yeezy jumped over Jumpman?
No.
Has Yeezy jumped over there? No, you say no?
And come on, product sales? No.
Let him answer.
I mean, we've been in business for 1 year. That you guys are even asking the question would tell me that from a mindshare perspective, if that's even a conversation. We shipped our first shoe with him February 12th, 2015.
Oh.
It's what, March 2016? April?
Well, that's the power of hip hop.
March.
One song. Or have people asking that question.
Now that's is
Well,
that
in
the
this
first
case,
sneaker
though,
that you did without the Adidas logo on it too? Because that's the only sneaker Adidas I can remember without a logo on it.
no,
Without
there's
three stripes.
There's logos on it. Yeah, I mean, we have the 3-stripe logo. We also have the trefoil logo for the Originals brand. We have the Badge of Sport for the on-court stuff, and there's logos on
Is that the first sneaker without the 3-stripe logo?
No.
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 But reality-wise, can Yeezy jump over Jumpman anytime soon?
I mean, my whole thing about what we're doing with Yeezy is that it's so different. We're in our own lane. We're not really trying to look at what they're doing. They took an athlete who, no question was the most dominant guy in the 80s and 90s that to ever play the game in that era. I think we're seeing someone now who's sort of redefining what that dominance means. And,
Steph Curry.
and the market's changing as well. There's I was talking about this earlier, like there's social media now. That didn't exist then. And through social media, these guys have no off season in the celebrity side of the industry. So the athletes have a seasonality to their business, which means they're going to be dominating ESPN or sports on the news at a certain time. But the non-sports side of that, the entertainment and influencer side of it, those guys are 24/7 creating a news cycle. So I think that Adidas is trying to do something completely different with Kanye, where it's like taking someone who is driving culture and then, actually I can't talk about the rest because it would give you too much insight into the future strategy on it. But we're really happy with how the partnership's evolving and where it's the trajectory for it. And then we have, obviously, with the technologies that we're developing and the guys on the athlete side, I mean, we just had the MVP of the Super Bowl. We have the MVP of the NFL a year ago.
Gotcha.
We have, a bunch of unbelievably strong NBA players right now who are on the come up, from Kyle Lowry and James Harden, and everyone in between. So we're really positioned well to be where we need to be as it evolves.
So with athletes, you look at their performance. With artists, it's who's driving culture the most?
Driving culture, people want to dress like, have a unique voice.
Gotcha.
Like going back to the Run DMC and Muhammad Ali, and just like people who can transcend culture in a way. And I think that we've definitely done a good job of cultivating relationships with those types of people.
Now, what about standing by a controversial artist or if something happens? Have you had issues where, say, you guys have an endorsement situation, but somebody's lyrics, like I know that happened with Rick Ross at Reebok, for example, and they had some type of, separation for a period of time. With Adidas, is there like a morality
Somebody
clause?
rigged somebody in some Adidas.
Shut up.
No. Why you always go
And
that
you
far?
see the video of
You
them
gotta take
running
yourself
off
out.
with the boost on, and they fast as hell. Nobody can catch them because of the boost.
This guy always goes.
It's like my
Far.
eyes are watering from that. So I mean, if you're asking me about my opinion on it, so I kind of look at that whole thing as art. I mean, if we were to go into like open up every refrain or lyric or whatever, I'm sure we could find something from artist XYZ that would be offensive to someone. But I think that we have to sort of get out of our PC culture when it comes to art. Art is, it's not someone standing on a pulpit saying, punch that dude in the face, whatever. It's a politician. It's an artist. And so we tend to like step back and really zoom out and consider that there's a place where the art has to be allowed to live and breathe. That said, if someone were to do what you just said, there would be no question what the result would be. I mean, we would obviously.
Yeah.
You got to draw the line on like actual crime.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But art to me
rape
is not.
is the line.
But art is no. There's crime is the line. But rape.
Yeah.
But art, I mean, is you got to respect the art and the artist. I mean, that's if people were to start, or to stop working with people over not liking their art. I mean, I guess that happens subconsciously anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think you got to let artists be themselves and flourish.
Now, what happened with Kylie and Puma? Why didn't y'all put a nice big bag down to make sure she didn't go over there?
I don't think I can answer that question.
He's like, I don't.
Oh, I don't know.
The guy in the back said no.
Oh. All right. Now, I heard you on a TED Talk. You said you used to like to play basketball, too.
Yes.
And you said that basketball helped you accept your skills.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Like, to kind of know it. So when you play on a team, you got to understand what your strengths are, but also what your limitations are. Mm-hmm. And I think that basketball taught me to accept what I was good at, but also what I wasn't good at. So I knew where I needed to defer to my team. It also taught me how to anticipate as plays were developing where I needed to be. And I think that in any business culture or doing this whole idea of like working with non-athletes the way I do at Adidas, you have to sort of look at all the factors and say, where is this person going to be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And is that a person that we want to be with? Because, we want to, with the resources that our brand has, you have to really go deep with the people you partner with.
When did you get the idea to be Wexler? Like to be in this position? Like what sparks off a young kid's mind to say, you know what, this is what I want?
I was just obsessed with sneakers as a kid and basketball and music and whatever. And,
You were a DJ too, right?
I was.
What was the DJ name?
Wex 1200. Yeah, because the 1200 comes from the 1200 turntable.
Right.
So it was like, I wasn't a good DJ.
You want to battle?
I was gonna say I haven't done
I was
it
a
in a while.
DJ.
I mean I DJ parties and stuff in college,
Right.
but like this frat dude came up and like I was playing house music because I was from Chicago and like spilled beer all over my turntables. And that was kind of that.
Party over.
Exactly. Party over, DJ career over. But that's what got me into promoting hip hop shows and stuff because I was like, all right, I've got this money from DJing shows. I was making like $250 a night in Madison, Wisconsin.
That's how much Envy makes now.
That's how much most DJs make now.
That is not.
I was doing
But
frat
I'll take
parties.
it.
It was great. It was a great way to make money. But yeah, I've been just really lucky in this role. I started as a sneaker kid at Adidas, and just through exposure, like the marketing department, I was able to establish.
What was your first? You had a big
relationships
campaign that actually kind of jump started them offering this position to you.
Yeah, that was called the House Party. It was it featured Missy, Meth, Red, DMC, David Beckham, Kevin Garnett. The Ting Tings were in it. Katy Perry's first TV commercial, and that was when like the whole "I Kissed a Girl" thing was just starting to bubble. And yeah, and a bunch of athletes, and we worked with this director named Nima Nerezda, who went on to direct Project X.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Love that
watch-
movie.
So if you watch a commercial for Project X and you were to watch House Party, it's literally frame for frame our commercial in that movie, shot in the same set, Warner Brothers Ranch and everything. And through negotiating those deals, the team that I work in now was always at Adidas. Our office was founded in 1985 in the Los Angeles Olympics. That's where our entertainment seating team was started. But that campaign was in 2008, I want to say, and it was our first time being on television for Adidas Originals since the Run DMC commercials in the late 80s, where they're like on the helicopter and stuff, if you remember those. And we negotiated all these deals, and I was talking to my boss about how I felt that to just work with those people from a campaign perspective wasn't really maximizing the opportunity of what all those people afforded us, based on with social media emerging. At that point in time, it was really just Facebook and Twitter. And I said, what if we were to, open the aperture a little bit and start to look at how we could invite them to events and have them host our parties and other
Be part of the
ways
team,
marketing.
kind of.
More of a family and community. And she was like, that's a great idea. That's going to be your job. Put a plan together and let's see. And fortunately, the CMO at the time signed off. And I've been
Been
doing
running
this
ever
ever
since.
since. But it wasn't like I set out to be like in this side of the brand. I'm a fan of the product. I love the product, and product is king. So, we're lucky enough. Like, everyone's always hitting me up on Twitter or whatever. Like, how come we don't? I need these shoes, or what size should I wear, and like that. And it's like, I crack up at that, but it's like, I'm the same way. I would be asking those same questions if I wasn't working at the brand. Although I can't really answer those questions.
How many people hit you up for Yeezys? For Yeezy boosts?
I have like 75,000 emails.
People you don't even talk to, probably.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, we went to high school together, and my kid was on your website and couldn't get them. Can we buy them from you? I'll pay for them. And it's like,
that people always offer that. I'll pay for them.
But my job is to give shoes away. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, our job is to seed product and create relationships off the power of products. So
who gets them first?
Who gets which?
Yeezys.
Well, Yeezys, we don't even seed. Kanye and Kim do that.
Good.
So,
that's a good answer, especially being on camera.
Yeah, that's
a fact.
That's
a fact. That's a fact.
Don't
that's
ask.
a fact.
Great answer.
No, it's a fact. They the Post-it note picture or whatever, they put all their layers together of apparel, and then they give it back to us, and we end up doing the actual like physical mailing of it. But they have, I mean, Kanye hand gifted a pair of shoes to Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's access that obviously I wish I had, but I don't have.
So you don't see Barack Obama. With
We have never, no, our brand. I think actually our CMO went over there when we did that whole. We're willing to put design resources behind schools that want to change their name from offensive Native American mascots. So our CEO, our CMO, and president of Adidas North America met with President Obama, and I think they might have given him a pair of sneakers then, but I'm not sure.
I didn't know you were from Chicago.
I'm from Highland Park, but yeah, 40 minutes north of the city.
So that's another connection between you and Ye, kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean the Chicago thing goes like Chicago is definitely a constant topic of convo. We had a meeting with them last week. Chance the Rapper was there. It was like Chicago.
Gotcha.
It was funny.
Now you guys are doing toddlers now. Toddler sneakers for the boost. Are they doing toddler sneakers now for the boosts, for the Yeezys? Toddler sneakers for the boost.
Tyler or toddler?
Toddler.
I was like, Tyler. Who's
I
Tyler?
thought he said Tyler too.
Yeah,
I cannot confirm or deny.
That is
until
the waste
the brand,
of boost material. They can't even walk yet.
No, but
until the brand.
I thought they was. So those are fake that I'm seeing out there.
Oh, the ones on the streets currently, yes. Adidas has never launched a shoe other than the shoes we've communicated.
Really?
And
So
that's
you
what I
bought
can't
some
stress
fake-
No, I
enough.
never bought them. I just seen them.
If Adidas has not communicated it, it is a fake.
Wow.
So whether it's an infant size or a colorway that we haven't marketed or a launch date or a product name, like there's a lot of people talking about certain numbers of shoes. Like, we've made the 350, the 750, the 950 was the boot, like the moon boot.
So the
And then
1050 is not real?
Well, the 1050 is the boot that was in the show.
Okay.
That's real. But there's other shoes that people have been like, this is the new, that.
Right.
And it's like that. Yeah. It's just a lot of bad info. It's like the speculation is driving the combo right now, unfortunately.
That's good, though.
Speculation's great, except when it's about a launch date and there's kids camped out 2 weeks before the shoe's available, and it's like there's no.
Yeah, I
launch
feel
date.
bad for kids.
And then
when they
it's
do
like
that.
some dude on Instagram just sent everyone chasing their tail.
I mean, clearly, if they're camping out 2 weeks for a shoe, they don't have nothing else to do anyway. So it's not like you're wasting their time.
Kids take this
those
serious.
kids are camping out to flip them though. I mean,
Gotcha.
those kids are like making.
They're trying to
like,
make some money. They're
car payment
entrepreneurs.
money. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, these 14-year-old kids are crazy. The amount of money they're making on shoes.
You got in trouble for something like that once. You tweeted that Ricky Rubio was y'all newest client, but that information wasn't public yet.
Correct.
What's the consequences for something like that, man?
I thought, fortunately,
You were hacked.
things were. No, I was too quick on the draw. That was me just being sort of naive, and an email came out to the company, and it was like
Oh, embarrassed.
the title was "Come meet Ricky Rubio on Monday." It was like a Friday, and he's signing autographs in the cafeteria, and in the email was like welcoming Ricky Rubio to the Adidas family. And so I was like, oh sweet, I'd been hearing about the guys trying to negotiate with him. I love Ricky Rubio's game. I'm a basketball junkie, and so I tweeted it out. And within 2 seconds, I knew I'd made a huge mistake because it was like the retweets. And I mean, it kind of put me on the map on Twitter, though, in a weird way. So
Right.
like had this like reverse positive effect from the fact that like now people come to my account to get more info about Adidas.
More
So
exclusive. Hopefully he slips
like-
up again.
Right, exactly. Like that's the irony of it is that I like learned how to like.
They should make you do
control
that
my-
with every launch.
I-
Accidental slip up. Like, oh man, he did it again.
There's definitely been a couple times where they've asked me to press the tweet button on a few like pieces of info that they wanted to make sure people realize was credible.
Right.
But I definitely don't, because the reality is like our whole PR department, our communications department, so many people put so much work into that stuff, and then some dumbass with a Twitter account undermines all of it. And it's like, I felt awful because I've had that happen to me.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm a human being. Like, I don't want to screw over my friends at work.
What'd you learn from that? Do they have like a Ricky Rubio rule? Like, remember what Wex did? Okay.
Ironically enough, there was an email that went out the next day that said, unless it's been communicated officially, yeah. I mean, there wasn't like a rule, quote unquote.
Gotcha.
The rule was already there.
Right.
It was just with like blowing up of social media, and like I'm not this younger generation. Like I should have known better. Like there's definitely a part of the population now that feels like they're going to get famous and all that stuff. So they're
I want to be the first to report
social
this.
media. Like
Right.
that wasn't what that was born from. I was just truly excited that we signed him, and yeah, I'm psyched for Adidas. Like you can tell if you follow me on Twitter or any of my socials, like it's Adidas. That's where my focus is, and I mean I love my family. My wife has forbidden me from sharing anything about our family on social media, so therefore everything's about Adidas.
Have you always had that love for Adidas?
I have. I mean, I grew up a Run DMC fanatic. So I worked at a sneaker shop when I was 16, and that was when Adidas was selling those Run DMC Olympic sweatshirts and all that, like 1986, 1985. And I would go to see their shows, and I was listening to like, I mean, I have the vinyl from that era. Like I have Spoonie G on vinyl. I have
Philly.
Yeah, I had Steady B Philly. I had all like Schoolie D. I had all that stuff on vinyl. So like, you know, at that point in time, there's only like 8 hip hop groups, you know, and so you would just constantly be going through that and buying 2 of everything and Eric B and Rakim, you know, all that, and then hip hop just. I remember my and Public Enemy, of course, and like my friends would be like, "What are you doing? Hip hop's just a fad. Like, why aren't you getting on grunge or whatever?" And I was like, this music speaks to me, and then here we are, and it's what 30 years later, 40 years later almost, and hip hop is like the most pervasive force in nature. Right,
Were you responsible for the Stella McCartney deal?
No, I was
that's
not.
excellent.
The design deals that we do, I mean, it's an interesting question though. Like for me, Run DMC begot Yohji Yamamoto, which begot Stella McCartney, which begot Raf Simons and Rick Owens, which if we hadn't worked with those guys, Kanye wouldn't have wanted to work with us because it was more about the designers we work with, where like we worked with Bathing Ape and Jeremy too, for sure. And like Bathing Ape, we worked with them in 2000, 2001. And then we kind of tapered off collaborating with them, and then we got back in business with Nigo, and then Nigo mentioned to Pharrell how good our partnership was going, and then, you know, it's kind of like the network grew from there, but it always, like, there's always a cadence to it.
Right.
But Stella came through the door through our global office in Germany. I'm not 100% certain. I think it was our former CMO who passed away, rest in peace, who forged the relationship with her.
Right, that's a great one.
She's been incredible.
Jeremy Scott is dope, too.
Yeah, Jeremy Scott.
Jeremy
I
was
always
great.
wanted those gold. I remember when they came out, I wanted the gold ones with the wings on the side, and I could never find them anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was that shoe was the whole Jeremy wave was, or is. I mean, he's an incredible partner.
I still have that teddy bear, the teddy bear jacket that he did. For my I did not for myself,
I
but
was
for
like,
my,
wow, if you would.
for my daughter. And
You have the overalls, right? No, I'm just kidding. But he's been, I mean, like in terms of creativity, again, like Jeremy was
very creative.
very like push the envelope, push the boundaries of what was accepted, and you know, definitely controversial, and people got on us about his design ethos. But you know, when you're a brand that truly is diverse and inclusive, you look for guys who can bring in a new community and help you grow.
Now you said that people who don't give up will be the people who cut through and make a difference.
Right.
Why shouldn't people ever give up?
I mean, the thing is like the second you give, so there's 2 schools of thought, and my whole thing is like, find something you're passionate about and marry it up with a way to make a living. And that is not an easy path. That is the path of a lot of rejection and a lot of failure along the way. But once you cross through and break through that, when you won't know it at the time, but looking back, you'll be like, that was the moment that window finally opened for me. And for me, I was banging on Adidas' front door for 3 years. I moved from Chicago to Portland, Oregon, got married. It was 1997, wanted to work at Adidas, banging on the door for 3 years, could not get in the door. And then in 2000, Ken Thornby and Eric Lickey gave me a shot, and like it changed my life, you know. And even that job though was like this entry level job where it was called sweeper. It doesn't even exist anymore. Your job was just clean up all the loose ends,
Sweeper.
like the sweeper on the soccer
Like,
field.
like a janitor.
Yeah, I mean, but it's more like the sweeper from the soccer field. In the sport of soccer, the sweeper kind of covers the entire field, and it's like your job to pick up all the pieces no matter what, which is definitely equivalent to that. And so I had a lot of. It was right when we were launching the Kobe and Tracy McGrady shoes. So in 2000, so my job was like do all the sell-through reports and talk to the marketing team to make sure they had shoes for advertising and kind of the hub of all communication for that. And then I just kind of like busted up from there. But that job, had a profound influence on my life. And if I'd given up on it, I went back to art school to learn the vernacular of the apparel and footwear industry. I wanted to be a designer, but I can't draw. I learned that pretty easily in art school.
So you gave up.
Yeah. I mean, I got a 4-year degree at Wisconsin, but then I went back to art school in Portland because I couldn't get a job at Adidas. And, and then I learned the marketing kind of communication style and got in.
You mentioned Kobe. Now, how was that when you guys lost Kobe? Because he was one of your biggest athletes at one time.
Yeah, Kobe was amazing. I mean, I love all the NBA players. They all make decisions based on whatever thinking they have. I was not involved from a sports perspective. I was like the grunt on the ground, making sure that shoes were shipping and that samples were in sales reps' hands and to forecast that business. Kobe's an incredible player. It's a shame he's retiring, and the league is now going to have to figure out who
the next Kobe
torchbearers
Stephen
are.
Curry, he took it already.
Well, there's other guys too.
Yeah, they wear Adidas, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love your story though, because it's like you did what you had to do in order to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's this thing now with like, and I don't want to call it entitlement. I just don't know.
Yes,
the
that's
word
exactly
for it.
what it is.
And
These
it's
kids
like,
got a sense of entitlement.
There's this idea out there that like, even going back to the Yeezys and tweeting at me, it's like people are legit mad about the fact that they can't just like snap their fingers and the shoes appear on their feet. And I get the demand factor, but there's a way to communicate, and there's a way to like, there's this entitlement thing that just blows me away at all times.
Yeah, they can't tweet you and be like, "Yo, Wex, send me some sneakers, boy." That's what they do.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They either say that or there's a silent version of that at the end. It's a tonality thing, and it's like but Twitter to me is like that. I love it for that reason. I mean, I hate it for that reason, but I also love it for that reason because people are brutally direct and honest instead of like fake curating their life like they do on other social media platforms. So it's like there's a genuine honesty to that, but at the same time, it does rub me the wrong way.
Absolutely.
It's like I'm conflicted over it.
Do you think the Yeezy Boost would be successful without Kanye?
Yeezy is Kanye. They're synonymous. So
gotcha.
He designed. He was very hands-on in designing it.
Yes, he is very hands-on in designing it, marketing it, communicating it. I mean, it's been very dynamic to be a witness to the whole process, a participant in certain areas. But I'm pretty much, that's Nick and Rachel and their teams that work for them who do more of the actual and Liad who do like the marketing and product piece with his Donda team.
Is it difficult to ever have to be like, Kanye, this is impossible, like we can't get such and such?
Yeah, I guess separating the fan from the business thing, kind of.
Well, we definitely have conversations that are very open and honest about business and our capabilities. And, the Madison Square Garden show that we just did, I think was really unorthodox and kind of broke convention.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Product launch and his albums streaming and all that. That idea was something that he had put on the table to us in November of 2014 when he came to Portland to see a sample of the shoe that Nick had flown over to bring. And so we had the convo at that time, like that would have been epic to do that for February of 2015 when we launched the 750 for the first time. But, with All-Star being in New York and it being Fashion Week at the same time, we couldn't pull it off. So we put a pin in it and then said, let's work backward from the right date and do something really epic. And fortunately, it played out and worked great. 20 million people watched it. And I mean, yeah, that was quite a production.
Now, what are the ones you're wearing? Because those are dope. These are the ones I like.
These are the 350s.
The 350s.
These are Yeezy Boost 350s.
Yeah, those are dope.
Black. Yeah, these shoes are like the most demand shoe probably of all the 350s that were made because they're the most wearable color and can work across.
They're comfortable too.
A bunch of different outfits. Yeah, they've got the boost in them. And we're always striving to improve the product. So like, this is the product now. The next offering is the evolution of this shoe is even better, and we can't wait, until that comes out.
Now, what about the apparel, the Yeezy apparel?
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is kind of expensive for people.
We made season 1 with him, and then he's been doing season 2 and 3 on his own since. So we were really thrilled with how the apparel performed for when we were part of season 1. And
what made y'all fall back and not do 2 and 3?
He has he's constantly, when you work with creative people, you don't want to limit their creativity. And I feel like one, it wasn't our core competency. You know, we make much more athletic looking stuff. So I think
Not
that
the
he
whole
just felt
Walking
like,
Dead corpsey looking stuff.
Well, no, I mean, I wear a lot of that apparel. It's just, I mean, I didn't wear it here. It's just because it's so nice outside. I have like more of the winter weighted stuff.
Gotcha.
But and obviously, like with the amount of people who've knocked it off before we even had a chance to bring it to market, that look is out there. I mean, Kanye has
The
an
grunge
innate
look.
ability to like see the future and wish it into being and will it into being through his messaging and his network. We were real happy with working with him on the apparel. If we work with him on more apparel, we'd be open to it. It's I think that, you know, he's just so creative that I don't want to ever put us in a position where we're a roadblock to him achieving some kind of success. And by the way, it's not at all like I just said that in a way where I make the final call on that. There's a whole team of people at Adidas who are keenly aware of what we're doing with Kanye at all times because, you know, it's had such an incredible impact. And obviously we've got other partners in other spaces that are having impact for us to help us build in those areas as well.
How does the team react to his Twitter rants? Like when you see him going off on somebody and then somebody says, hey, Kanye got a finger in his butt. Like, how do y'all react to that?
I mean, I think, again, a lot of that is like tongue-in-cheek, a lot of fun, and his sense of humor is just like...
You say tongue in what?
Tongue in cheek.
I think the dude has a great sense of humor, and it gets lost because people have a certain perception about it. So I read a lot of that stuff, and I'm just psyched whenever he gives us shine and Adidas shows up on there. And yeah, I mean, it's energy, you know, and he has an incredible way of sort of hacking culture, almost like reverse hacking it. You know, he puts all his vulnerabilities out there, and people like him more, where most people try to hide that stuff and present this perfection that everyone knows does not exist. So I respect him for being honest. Yeah.
Oh, Wex, you're doing a great job out here, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you
I
joining
must
us,
say
man.
you all doing a great job. Y'all are really cutting through culture right now.
We're trying. Yeah, I mean, we obviously have a lot that we can improve on, but we've made some significant strides, and the goal is to just not look back. We're in our own lane, and we're driving.
Now, where can people tweet you when they want to get free sneakers?
Yeah, right.
Wex at Wex1200 on Twitter.
They can definitely tweet at me.
Well, we appreciate you joining us today.
Anybody
so
else y'all
much.
got your eye on? Like somebody that you look at and say, you know what, that's a future curator or coach. I want him
We
or her.
definitely have some people that we're exploring. I think, though, for now, our goal is to really shift the focus back to the brand itself. I mean, when I walked in, you mentioned that shoe that we just launched this weekend. That didn't have any like sense of endorsement around it, or type of endorsement around it. This NMD shoe, and for us, it's about celebrating the actual product because product is king. And so when you have a technology like Boost, and you have the types of references on the shoe that date back to shoes from the '80s that we used to create, that had like this was a visual cue to a technology from the 80s. Most kids won't recognize it right away, but they'll see from 30 feet away there's something unique there, and then the prominent upper and everything. It's we're really fortunate, and so yeah, we're just going to keep building our product to the height that it needs to be, and at the same time work with a lot of cool people along the way.
All right.
Well, there you have it. It's Jon Wexler. It's
Yes,
the
sir.
Breakfast Club, and thank you for the sneakers. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.